Well, maybe let's talk about some quick lessons learned, actually, and some really practical ones too. I mean, Whina, you talked about how the model needs to change, the bureaucracy, the kind of due diligence at the time of a crisis is just too burdensome. So what would we do differently?
I really think we need to change our models to high trust models. We talk about it, but we actually don't do it. We talk about that we are doing it and we're going to do it, and we just never do. The models remain the same. Like we package up the policies with lots of brilliant different wording about what we're going to do and how we're going to engage and all of these sorts of things, but on the ground, nothing changes. The system still remains the same. And for me, it really is about power sharing and being comfortable to cede power, which many of our agencies, our sector in general, really, they're not comfortable doing, because otherwise they would have done it already. So, like in 2015, I think it was, we had the World Humanitarian Summit. So we had the regional meeting in Auckland. We had Helen Clark fly in, so all of the big UN people at the time, etc. We were supposed to reimagine aid and what it would look like. I think it was a brilliant conference because it was really Pacific led. Out of it came really great concrete recommendations from our communities about what it is that they want to see in terms of aid, etc., etc. That's gone nowhere since then. And it reminds me of when the Premier of Niue, he stood up and he said, after all of the really great, beautiful, flowery speeches from the UN, and from, he stood up and said, look, let's just cut to the chase. We're here because I don't trust you, you don't trust me. And essentially that was it, because if we did trust each other, our funding models would change, our whole relationships would change. And so for me, it really goes back to, why are we doing the work that we do as a sector? It's almost like an existential question back to our sector in terms of, are you doing it to be a blessing